Okay, welcome back, everybody. My name is Shawn Johnson. I'm a holistic health coach and entrepreneur. So, welcome to the third and final installment of our Masterclass series on anxiety and overwhelm in and around your business. In our first class, we talked about tackling the problem at the root and finding the right kind of help. In the second class, we touched on the psychology of change. And we also introduced Jackie. Jackie has been kind enough and courageous enough to open up and share her journey with us along the way. So welcome back, Jackie.
Thank you.
So now we're going to talk about effective ways to build new habits. So finding help and committing to change means nothing without meaningful action to back it up. Jackie, you'd agree with that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Before you create a goal, however, you have to determine where you're at. And that means getting brutally honest with yourself. Sugarcoating your situation will not help you to change. So if you don't want to be honest, then unfortunately it means you're not ready to succeed. And I don't believe anyone in here, I don't believe that's the case for anyone in here. So Jackie, what are some ways that you've had to be brutally honest with yourself on this journey?
Oh gosh. It came to the point where I was so physically and emotionally tired and exhausted and wore out where I really didn't have a choice but to be, but to face it. Because there was no more running away from it. There was no more band-aiding it. It got to the point where it's just, you had to face it. And I mean, I think, I looked for the quick highs with caffeine and sugar and what have you, to just kind of pull through. But even that at some point is no longer effective. So yeah, it was just to the point where I literally couldn't ignore it anymore.
Okay. So I'm going to drop something in there. Tell us a little bit about the woe is me mentality that you had coming into it.
Yeah. So I had a story. I had a victim story of what had happened to me that, my husband of 15 years had, up and left and just decided that, he no longer wanted me, and became a single mother. So I had this, I don't know, I guess chip on my shoulder of I'm the victim, this happened to me and I'm helpless. And it's a story that wasn't helping me, it wasn't serving me at all. It was making things worse rather than better. So I had to really, and it's an ongoing process.
Sure.
To think about, am I the victim or do I want to be the warrior and get through this? Because one keeps me stuck and the other moves me forward out of it.
Yeah. Now, and Jackie, thank you for having the courage to say that, because that's a hard thing to admit to, but it's an important thing to admit to. And it almost is like, seeking out the validation from others when we share that sad story. It feels good. It gives us this little high, and we start chasing that rather than doing the real work that's required to get out of our situation, to get out of the mud.
Right. Yeah, it is. It feels good to be, well, when you have people paying attention to you, there's that, like, oh, woe is me. And people are giving you attention. So it's like, it's kind of like when children throw a temper tantrum to seek, to seek attention. So you're getting the attention, but also, so there's, if that feels good, but also, I don't know. I think that there's part of like, you just want people to relate to you, but really your situation is yours uniquely. I don't know that people, everybody's got their own unique story, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
But when you make the decision as you've made to commit to creating a new story,
Mm-hmm.
you have to allow the old story to die and to see
Mm-hmm.
where the old story is actually doing anything but making you feel ultimately better.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you realize that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it is a daily practice because it's not, well, I just decide I'm going to kill this story of being a victim
Sure.
and then wake up tomorrow and look, I'm a woman warrior. And
Exactly.
it's a roller coaster. It's up and down because some days you do feel empowered and then other days you're really wanting to slip back into that story.
Right. Which is why we started with your physical health, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
cover a little bit about that shortly here. But just tell us what new habits that you've had to form on your path to change so
Um,
far.
So one of the biggest things that I had to start doing was eating 3 times a day,
Hmm.
which for me, that was extremely difficult. It sounds silly, like who doesn't eat 3 times a day, but I
Hmm.
was just not used to putting myself first. I was used to putting myself actually dead last.
Hmm.
My business came first, my kids came first. Basically anything and everything came before I came.
Sure.
And so just eating 3 times a day has been really challenging.
Yeah.
I still have a hard time with breakfast. Like, I still have a hard time forcing myself to eat breakfast. But it's part of getting my body to where it needs to be.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, and you're also exercising twice a week.
Yes. Yep. Yep. Not
See,
crazy amount of time because, I'm still in a business that is very time consuming. So we're working it around. I'm getting ahead of myself probably where
well,
we're going.
I mean, what we've done so far is we're building in the habits. So we've created the space for you to exercise twice a week. It takes what, maybe 5 minutes?
Yeah. Yep.
But
Yep.
you've already built in the habit where there's like these two bookmarks throughout your week where you
Mm-hmm.
engage in exercise. You had not
Yep.
been doing that before. And we
No.
picked a high leverage exercise. So
Yep.
we're not just fooling around in these 5 minutes. It's an exercise that yields results. And then when we're ready to expand into a more in-depth exercise protocol, the space has already been made.
Mm-hmm.
But we're never going to be foolish about that and have you exercising 24/7, 7 days a week, because you
Mm-hmm.
are in business and it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So let's talk about there's some other habits that you've adopted as well, like, when feelings arise.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you can't go seek that feel good hit from somebody else to validate your sad story, what have you had to learn to practice to do?
Just and this is the probably one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do, but learning to sit in my emotions and not attach a story to them, not create a story around them, just allow to feel through them, because once you feel through them you realize that they're not going to kill you. Even though sometimes it feels like it
Yeah,
hurt
but it is a
momentarily.
but it is a practice.
Mm-hmm.
And now that you don't have, because when you did eat
Mm-hmm.
before, it was what? It was a big thing of sugary
Coke.
Coca-Cola,
Yep, that was
maybe
my.
maybe some chocolate or candy, something the
Yep.
kids were eating
Mm-hmm.
to get that feel good hit, to
Mm-hmm.
quickly, just push away whatever the feeling was, but never really actually resolving it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
now it's learning to be with the feeling and realize that it's not so bad. Um, and then moving, and then ultimately moving past it eventually. But it's a practice.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the ways that people go wrong with building habits is by attempting to do way too much at once. Okay. So, having multiple goals actually distracts you from working really hard at the one thing that actually matters. So, if you're spreading your energy around trying to accomplish 5 things at once, chances are you're not going to accomplish anything at all. So we want to focus on the one thing that matters. Do not sabotage your success. So with Jackie, we started with her physical health and then systematically scaled out from there. I recommend starting out by supplanting old negative habits with something better before adding in a new habit. So in the example of Jackie here, we started out with her nutrition. We did not start with the exercise because the exercise is adding in something new. We started with something she was already doing. Now, Jackie's a rare case where she wasn't eating 3 times a day, but she was already eating. So we substituted the meals that she was eating for better versions, for healthier versions. So start where you are. You don't have to create additional time for that. And each and every one of you are busy, busy people. So creating additional time will only create an excuse for you not to follow through. So, Jackie, how has having a good nutritional foundation helped you build better habits in other areas of your life?
So yeah, it is true. Like how you do food is how you do your life. It has helped me realize that I do have more control. I'm not the victim. So, that I do get to make the choice. It seems small, but when you're struggling and feeling powerless, in certain areas of your life, when you bring back that control, and saying, nope, I'm going to choose me. I'm going to choose to do this for me today. It's amazing. It's amazing. It really does make a difference.
And what you're doing is a major accomplishment that most people have never done successfully in their lifetime. So kudos to you for that. So listen, guys, your success is dependent upon new habits that you consistently build in over time. And that's what Jackie and I have been doing over these past 6 months. So when you're creating a new habit, you want to eliminate the friction points. You want to eliminate those things that will likely help you fall off the wagon, so to speak. And the best way to do that is by starting with that one major area of your life that needs attention and pouring all of your energy into that before moving on, because you're less likely to make excuses. Change is hard. Don't make it any harder than it has to be. So, okay, all of you are in business right now. Chances are there's 2 major areas that are contributing to your anxiety and overwhelm. One of those is your physical health, okay? So your diet can make your depression, your anxiety, your overwhelm worse. So when your diet is out of balance, you'll experience symptoms like low energy, digestive issues, tummy troubles, extreme cravings, brain fog, and it all has a direct impact on your mental health and your emotions. So when you heal distress in any one of these bodily systems that I'm about to talk about, your mood will naturally improve. So let's just start with digestion. So your digestive system is directly connected to your brain via the vagus nerve. Now, one of the things that the vagus nerve regulates is your ability to stay calm in the face of stressful situations. And it's a 2-way street. You're communicating information to your vagus nerve via your nutrition. Did you also know, Jackie, did you know that your digestive system produces up to 90% of the serotonin in your body?
I did know this.
How many of
I
you
only found it out later.
How many of you out there are on SSRIs? That's a serotonin reuptake inhibitor, antidepressant. So energy, your energy systems. Your energy determines how you feel every single day. So if your adrenals are out of whack, if your blood sugar is constantly fluctuating, you'll feel like you're on a roller coaster with your mood, or you'll feel tired, or you'll feel weak, or you feel burned out, overwhelmed, anxious. Sound familiar? Hormones. So your hormones, which are directly impacted by your diet, are the lens through which you see the world. Okay? So they color your emotions, your energy, your drive. And if your hormones are out of balance, your mood will be out of balance too. We all have a taste of this once a month, right? But it's actually going on throughout the month in ways that you're not aware of. So let's say that maybe you've got the health under control. You've got the health and fitness thing in check. Cool. What's another major area that I would recommend tackling that is likely contributing to your anxiety, your overwhelm, depression, all that good stuff? Well, I would look at your business and I would look at 3 areas, okay? How do you handle lead generation? How do you handle lead conversion? And how do you handle client fulfillment? Do you have systems in place to handle these major areas of your business, or do they all depend on you? If the answer is they all depend on you, that's a problem. So I would begin working to put systems in place in one of those major areas starting today. So, Jackie, now that we've established a nutritional foundation, you've begun creating space for exercise consistently twice per week, which is super awesome. We've put that on autopilot because we have to allow those habits, which get kind of boring after a while, to be solidified. Yeah. And you've got to be consistent with them day in and day out. So now we've begun working on your business to distract you from that. We got to put that on the back burner. You've got to keep doing it, but the excitement kind of wanes. And now we've moved to your business to distract you from that boredom. Okay, so this is an art, folks. What is your goal going forward, and what actions are you taking to get there right now?
So my goal moving forward is to have more time for myself and my children, ultimately, and create more freedom in my life, which I think a lot of entrepreneurs could probably agree with and feel like that's something that they want. So that's the goal. And we've been working to create some automated systems behind the scenes.
Yes.
In order to free up some time for me.
Yes, because your first business, you built that and you realized that it consumed you. You made your jail. And now you're looking to do it the right way.
Yes, correct.
You're looking to do it the right way.
Yeah.
And to build a system which is really beautiful because it delivers for the people that depend on you, your clients, whether you're present or not. That's really important. So it's important for both of you.
Yes.
So to wrap this up, I want to bring it back around to commitment. Okay. I say that word a lot because you should too. If you've reached out for help, committed to change, and took focused action, sliding back into old habits now is a choice that you are making. Nothing will change unless you do, and nothing will change unless that word commitment means something to you. And you hold the power. So I want you to post your commitments in the group. And I want you to tell us what not upholding that commitment would cost you physically, mentally, emotionally, and even financially. So thank you everyone for joining us. We'll see you soon.
Thanks.